Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you're having a fantastic day so far. So a bill was just re-released this year, which would impact around 56% of Social Security beneficiaries, allowing them to keep more of their check and have a higher Social Security payment. So we're going to be covering that bill. Also, we're going to be looking into 5 mistakes that future Social Security beneficiaries might just be making in the near future. So we're going to be covering those as well. So before we go ahead and dive into the main content of today's video, if you wouldn't mind helping me out real quickly by just giving this video a like, that just helps out with the good old YouTube algorithm, and also consider subscribing to my channel if you have not already. Okay, so throughout our working careers, out of each paycheck, we have certain things taken out of it. We have different types of taxes taken out of our check. So for example, of course, we have our federal income tax, and that's going to be ranging anywhere from 10 to 37%, depending on how much income you make. And then you might even have state income taxes taken out as well. Now, of course, there are some states which do not tax your income. So if you live in one of those states, you won't have this tax. And then, of course, you have something called the payroll tax. So within the payroll tax, you have both Social Security and Medicare taxes taken out of your check. So the Medicare total tax is 2.9%. However, if you're an employee, you're going to share that burden with your employer. So you'd be paying in 1.45%, and then your employer would be matching the 1.45%. The same goes for Social Security tax. So if you're an employee, you're going to be paying in 6.2%, and then your employer is going to match the other 6.2%, which is going to total up to being 12.4%. And then, of course, whatever you pay in as far as the Social Security tax goes, it goes into the Social Security Trust Fund, and that's actually going to be paying out to the current beneficiaries of Social Security. So it's not going to be going like into your own private trust fund to be paid out later. No, what you're paying in now is actually going to people now receiving Social Security benefits. And then whenever you're eligible to start receiving benefits, whoever is paying into the system then is actually going to be paying for your benefits. So, I mean, you would think since you're paying in these taxes during your working career, that once you start receiving your Social Security benefits, that you would no longer have to pay taxes on those benefits because you already pay taxes on your income, so it's sort of your money. Well, unfortunately, 56% of people actually do have to pay taxes on their Social Security income, which really is quite unfortunate. So, according to AARP, for purposes of determining how the Internal Revenue Service treats your Social Security payments, income means your adjusted gross income plus non-taxable interest income plus half of your Social Security benefits. And the IRS has an online tool that calculates how much of your benefit is taxable. So the portion of your benefit subject to taxation varies with income level. You'll be taxed on up to 50% of your benefits if your income is $25,000 to $34,000 for an individual, or $32,000 to $44,000 for a married couple filing jointly. And then it's going to be taxed on up to 85% of your benefits if your income is more than $34,000 for an individual, or $44,000 for a couple. So if you file individually and you have $50,000 in income and you get $1,500 a month from Social Security, you would pay 85% of your $18,000 in annual benefits, or $15,300 in taxes out of your $18,000 annual Social Security check. So that is a lot of money that you have to pay taxes on for your Social Security check, especially considering that you're already paying taxes on your income whenever you're working, paying into the trust fund. So obviously, for a lot of people, this is going to be considered pretty unfair. So because of that, a new bill has actually been released, which would make it so you would no longer have to pay taxes on your Social Security benefits. So according to the Motley Fool, a new bill proposes eliminating Social Security's most hated tax. Does it have legs? So in May, Massey and more than 24 co-sponsors reintroduced the Senior Citizens Tax Elimination Act, which would eliminate the federal government's ability to tax Social Security benefits. This is actually the 6th time Massey has reintroduced this legislation since taking office in 2012. So he's been trying to pass this for the last 10 years or so without a great deal of success. So the idea of taxing Social Security benefits doesn't sit well with retirees. An informal poll conducted by the Senior Citizens League, a nonpartisan senior issues advocacy group, finds that out of more than 4,900 votes cast to the question, should Social Security income be taxed, 94% have chosen no, not at all. So 94% of Americans believe that Social Security benefits should not be taxed. So obviously Americans are on board with this bill. Why they're not passing it already, I have no idea. So we can pull up the bill here on congress.gov and we see that already it has 27 co-sponsors. However, they all happen to be Republicans, so we don't have any Democrats on board with this bill yet, which of course they would have to do, at least in order to pass it through the Senate, where Democrats have a slim majority. Now, in addition to that, we're going to move on to some other news here, also by the Motley Fool. This is discussing the 5 different Social Security mistakes that people probably don't even realize that they're making. So the first mistake here is not knowing what to expect from Social Security. So for starters, it's good to have at least a rough idea of how much income to expect from Social Security. On average, beneficiaries are collecting $1,837 per month as of June 2023, which amounts to about $22,000 annually. So they say to get a clear estimate of what you can expect, you can set up a My Social Security account at the Social Security Administration website. And from there, it'll kind of give you a rough estimate of how much you can expect to receive once you start collecting, depending on which age you decide to start collecting. So more on that later. The second mistake here is not checking your earnings record. So on your My Social Security account, you can actually see what the SSI is using when it calculates your benefits or estimates of benefits. If any numbers seem wrong, look into them and have them corrected if necessary. That can lead to bigger benefit checks in the future. Now, the third mistake that a lot of people make is not knowing their full retirement age. So you can see the chart there. If you were born between 1943 to 1954, your full retirement age is 66. And then from there, each year forward, it moves back by 2 years all the way until 1960 or later, which at that point, the full retirement age is going to be 67. Now they're talking about raising that even more up to 69. So we'll just have to wait and see. The fourth mistake is not understanding how timing affects your benefits. So while you can start receiving your full benefits at your full retirement age, you can opt to start collecting your benefits as early as age 62, in which case you will receive smaller checks. You can also delay starting to collect your benefits up to age 70, and they will grow by about 8% for each year beyond your full retirement age that year delay. So if you decide to start collecting at the age of 70, as you can see here, you can receive a lot more money. However, if you don't wait and you can start collecting them at 62, then you can start kind of get like a head start on receiving your benefits, which could also be beneficial as well. Or you can just kind of have like a middle point, collect at 67, your full retirement age, 66 or 67 or somewhere in between. And it's kind of like a happy medium point. So obviously there's no wrong or right answer on when to start collecting benefits. If you went to sit down with maybe like a retirement advisor, that might be the most beneficial thing for you. Now, the fifth mistake that the Motley Fool here lists is not considering your bigger picture. So finally, be sure to consider your big picture when making Social Security decisions. That would include all your income sources, your expected expenses in retirement, and your spouse's circumstances too if you're married. For example, you might decide to delay claiming your benefits until age 70 in order to maximize those checks because they're pretty much guaranteed unless Congress doesn't strengthen the program and have built-in inflation adjustments. In order to delay, you might need to tap into other income sources such as IRAs or 401ks more heavily until age 70. Meanwhile, if you have earned more than your spouse, your benefit is likely to be bigger, and when one of you dies, the survivor gets to collect the bigger benefit. So by maximizing your benefit, you could help your spouse out a lot. So definitely a lot of things to consider there, but that's all the news that we have for today's video. I certainly hope that you enjoyed and found value out of it. If you did, again, I would greatly appreciate if you could give this video a like, consider subscribing to my channel if you have not already, and I will see you in the next video.